Hello everyone and welcome back to this platform. This is Amazing Grace Mindset Transformation. I'm so glad to meet you again. Today in this platform we are going to look at the cultural differences that exist between Asia, China in particular, and Africa, Cameroon in particular. Well, I'm going to talk about Cameroon because that is where I come from, and about China because that is where I live right now. So I have lived the two cultures, so I can be able to bring out some cultural aspects that exist in these two countries. Yeah, before I get into the topic proper, I would like to let us know that culture is an aspect that is inherited, and it is a very important aspect in every country. When we move from one place to another, we meet different people. When we move from country to country, we meet different people with different cultural backgrounds, with different eating habits, with different dressing habits, with many other habits, which might not be exactly the same in every country. But every country attaches a lot of importance to its cultural values. And so, when we get to every country, we need to learn something about that culture and we need to respect their culture. Nevertheless, I am also going to emphasize here that some cultural habits have become so old and need to be upgraded. When we look at other countries and we admire their own cultural values, sometimes there are certain situations or certain things that we can upgrade in our own country to make it better for those who are living these cultural values. So, to begin with, I will start with table manners. Table manners is how we behave when we eat lunch, dinner, or breakfast at table. Now let's look at China. What are the things that Chinese people use when eating at table? Chinese people often use chopsticks while eating at table. They eat rice with chopsticks, dumplings, hot pot, and many other varieties. They hardly use their hands to pick up food. But also there are some kind of food like a kind of pancake which is eaten with roast duck. They can use their hands to rub it up to eat. But in rare occasions, they often use chopsticks. The difference with Western countries and Cameroon is that in Cameroon, the people use spoons, forks, knives, and even their fingers to eat. There are certain traditional dishes which are eaten with the fingers in Cameroon. And anybody who goes against this cultural aspect is seen like abusing the culture. The people attach a lot of importance with this kind of food. For example, they eat food like achu, fufu and ero, fufu and dole. All this kind of food are eaten with the fingers. And so every other person, like foreigners who are coming into that country, also have to respect this cultural aspect. Now we move from this aspect to another. The next aspect is, how do people behave when they sit at table to eat? Well, in China, when people sit and eat at table, most often they talk, they discuss a lot with one another, or asking questions, especially when a foreigner sits to eat with them. They tend to ask a lot of questions, and sometimes they could even ask you to sing songs. Meanwhile, in Cameroon, it's a little bit different, because when the people eat at table, people rather are not allowed to speak too much, because it is believed that when people eat and they talk at table, sometimes they could get choked, especially when they eat food which is made of chili. Another reason is that when we eat at table and we talk too much, sometimes saliva comes out to fall on the food. So we give some respect to the people at table. While they eat quietly, they speak in a quiet manner, and they don't shout at table. But meanwhile, in China, when people eat, they mostly talk. They talk out of excitement. They like to interact with one another. So talking is a form of excitement, because they are happy to meet one another. Well, another thing is that at table, when they eat at table, it is not respectful when the people gather at table and maybe they eat at table and someone will use chopsticks to hit on the plate. For example, like you're playing some music, it is considered like an abuse and lack of respect. In Cameroon, I think it is also almost the same, because when we eat at table, even we are waiting for the food to come, everyone will just sit. Maybe they can share some discussions, they can talk. But when we eat and someone uses the spoons to hit on the plate, it is also considered as lack of respect, especially when we eat with elderly people. Because this can happen with children, but it's okay. It's okay when children eat by themselves, and sometimes they play this, but also the parents have to teach them, because they need to start learning as children. Now, I am going to stop here and move to education. As far as culture is concerned, relating to education, in China, it is quite difficult to actually differentiate between a headmaster and a teacher, because in China, they always dress in a very simple way. While going to work, they dress very simple. And they all interact with students, with teachers, and also with parents. They can wear things like t-shirts, like sport shoes, sport clothes. That is, in their opinion, they say when they get dressed in that manner, it is easy for the children to come play and feel free. But it is quite different with the people in Cameroon. Most often when the people go to work, they dress responsibly. For example, they can dress in suit, or they can dress up with this kind of clothes called like simple aguada. because we have the complicated kind of aguada, but this one is a simple one, just a simple up and down. So I came to notice that this attitude is quite different in China. When I just came and I started working, I usually dress in suit to go to school because I was working, dealing with kids. But I was told that each time when I dress like that, it is not easy for the children to come close to me because maybe I won't feel comfortable, or the children will not feel so comfortable to really come play with me, and I will not be flexible. So, but that was so different with my own culture. Another aspect relating to education. When a school organizes a meeting between teachers and parents, and a time is given for the meeting, no one comes late. This is in China. If the time is set for 7 o'clock, that means by 6:50, everyone is already there. But it is quite different with those people in Cameroon. When a meeting is being organized and the time is set, people will come late for that meeting. Sometimes, some people will even come when the meeting is almost closing. Well, I might associate this with maybe their movements, because sometimes some people come by public transport, and then because of the nature of the road, sometimes there's a lot of traffic on the way. But in China, most of the people, they come by their personal cars, sometimes by bicycles, by electric bikes, and so they get there on time. It is usually very strict. That is, as every parent comes, they have to write their names. And so they get to know at what time every person comes. So I came to notice this, and even when classes are going on, all the children have to be there on time. No late coming is allowed. And even when the children come late, a teacher will not beat a child. The teachers have their own way. If a child is wrong at school, they have a way of punishing the child. Unlike in Cameroon, where a child comes late to school and the child will be beaten. In those days, I remember 20 years ago, teachers used to beat children when they come late to school. I don't know about today because I am not there, so I don't know whether the situation has changed or not. But here, children are not beaten at school. When a child does something wrong, a teacher would talk to the child. Their own way of beating a child is talking to the child. That's talking to the child through education. They educate the child by asking follow-up questions that will make the child to become conscious of what they did, which was wrong. But this is different with those in Cameroon. Still relating to education, every class has a discussion forum created for that class. For example, like they have some apps like the WhatsApp, WeChat, QQ, etc., where they have created groups, that is, a group for each class, and every parent must belong to that group. A parent whose child is in that class must belong to that group, because every day they give report about the students' behavior at school. For example, if a child goes late to school, or if a child is constantly coming late to school, they need to come, make it public in that group. If a child, for example, does not respect some rules, they'll make it known to that group. That is, they make it known to everyone who belongs there. Like that, everyone will try to sit up, because you won't want your child's name to be published every day. So you have to sit up, try to correct your child at home. And if there's any problem, they always let the problems known to the teacher so they can also understand every student. But this is different. It's a different situation in Cameroon. Most often, parents can only discuss with teachers only during a parent-teachers meeting. And sometimes meeting these teachers behind is not an easy task, because the teachers have made themselves like some kind of demigod, which is it's so difficult for parents to interact with them and also to manage their own children. Another aspect is that Chinese people hardly take bribe. Unlike in Cameroon, before you go talk to a teacher, sometimes you see parents who go behind to give some envelopes in private to the teachers. Sometimes here in China, even you give something, offer something, they say no, they refuse, they don't accept. Moving forward, now we talk about security, about the police. When I just arrived China, I was told that the person that I should make as my best friend in China should be the police. That is, at any time I have a problem, I should call the police to tell them about it. Rather, in Cameroon, it is different. Because even if we have a problem and call the police, what the police will want is bribe. Or before the police ever get to the scene, it will take a long time. In China, once someone encounters a problem and he picks up a phone and dial 110, immediately the police will appear to intervene, or either to ask questions, or either to save the situation. This is totally different in Cameroon. Sometimes people even fear to talk to the police. That is our own society. Let me tell you, when I just arrived China, the first time I was moving from a city to another city, and my wallet was stolen. When my wallet was stolen, I could not speak Chinese, I could not do anything. The people were the ones who immediately called the police, and as soon as they dialed the number, the police arrived there within 2 minutes. And they took me out for questioning. They asked me questions. And then they told me what is the next thing I should do. So today, we are going to learn a few things, because it is necessary to also learn the things that happen in different countries, because sometimes ignorance can make us do things in a different way. While thinking that we are doing our best, meanwhile, we can also learn from other people and upgrade. In China, we do not need to joke when it is lunch time or dinner time. If you go outside on the street, every place is dried up. Many people rush home to eat dinner or to eat lunch with their family members. They stop whatever thing they are doing. But in Cameroon, most people continue to go on with their businesses, with their activities, and they do not really care much about that particular hour for meals. One very powerful difference is that in Cameroon, people live as each other's keeper. They live as brothers. A neighbor is just like a brother. They care for each other. They know when something is wrong with one another. But in China, someone can live in his apartment for even a month and nobody will ever come knocking to check whether he or she is in. So nobody cares about your own activities. Everyone go minding their own businesses. If you hear a knock on your door, it should be someone who has come to deliver a parcel. Sometimes you don't even know your next door neighbor, because as someone comes in, they close the door. Sometimes you can only meet them at the staircase, but you hardly get into someone's home. But in Cameroon, people go visiting their neighbors. They can go into their houses, stay with them, chat with them, and they live as each other's keeper. There are a lot of things, but I will not continue without giving you a few similarities that also exist between these two countries. The two countries have that powerful attachment to their family members. Family is one very, very important thing in China and also in Cameroon. But the family in China most often is limited to grandmother, grandfather, grandson, granddaughter, and this circle. But in Cameroon, the family is gone. The family goes beyond this. It goes right to extended family. And so sometimes they depend on one another for assistance. And so the chain is very, very long. Another similarity is that, like in Cameroon, people like coming together to sit, chat with one another, eat. Chinese people also like to gather and eat in one particular restaurant as a family. They like to eat together, chat, drink, and then share some stories or play some games. Culture is very powerful, but it can always be amended if something is not going right. Thank you very much for watching. I hope to see you in the next video. Do not forget to write your comments below. If you have any questions about this topic, please feel free to ask. The next topic will be the difficulties or the challenges that foreigners face in China. Hope to see you again. Love you all. Bye-bye.